Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Rob. Guys, we got a neat video this morning. We're going to be talking about death and mortality rates and all sorts of gloomy Gus situations. But you know what? It's got a really positive spin. This is going to be a good video. Trust me, just hang in there. I want to talk about prepping and some things that have made me change my mind about it and how I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently in the future. One of the reasons I'm a prepper, I'm not a really hardcore prepper like a lot of people, but I've always thought there was a good case for being a prepper. And this guy, BJ Campbell, has a really good article. I found out about it the other day from Survival Blog, really good site. Mr. Campbell, he's a hydrologist. He makes his living about determining whether or not an area in a floodplain is going to have a flood within so many years based upon the historical precedent and the geology and the what's happening in that locality. And he's able to determine, scientifically, mathematically, whether or not there's a likely event of a flood. He decided to do that with whether or not we would have a a drastic event happen in the United States that would be something a prepper would be prepared for, like a revolution or a civil war. And obviously, you need to be prepared if there's a civil war or revolution. So he looked at the data and plugged everything in. The last civil war we've had and the revolution, how long we've been a country, the average age of a person, and he worked out to where you'd have a 37% chance in anybody's lifetime here in the US we'd have a revolution or a civil war. Now, to me, that's a pretty sobering statistic and would justify you wanting to have some preparations made for who knows what. And there's a million different scenarios where people prep because it's good to be prepared. But I saw something just the other day. It was uh, a graph of the causes of death in the U.S. Hold, hang on, don't click out on me yet. These are all the reasons if you're in the U.S. you're going to die. Now, Mr. Campbell has a 37% chance you may have a revolution, but he doesn't say there's a 37% chance you're going to die. This graph, there's a 30.2% you're going to die of heart disease. Not maybe get it, but you're going to die from it. And cancer, 29 and so on. There's like I think 10 or 11 things down to the very bottom where it is not specified. So you have a 98.8% chance guarantee of dying of one of these 10 things. So wouldn't you want to be prepared for these things? Not only a volcano or a tsunami or a civil war where you may survive, where if you have this mortality of heart disease, you're not going to survive. I mean, you can survive heart disease, but this is how many people die from it, not how many people get it. What was also interesting was how many searches are done on Google for these different diseases. Cancer, 29% death, but 37% looking for it. But heart disease, only 2%. Fasting, I thought a lot more people would be searching on Google for heart disease. Now, what the media covers, terrorism, 35%, homicide, 22%, suicide, 10.5%. Same thing in the UK. They don't talk too much about heart disease, do they? That's the number one killer in America. Not a revolution or Big Brother or or your terrorist next door neighbor. It's heart disease. So my point of this video is I've begun to start spending a lot more time that I would normally be spending on prepping and doing other things and working on trying to lower my chances. I mean, you got to go well eventually, but see down here, there's unspecified like 1.2%. That's the percent I want to be in there. Like I want to be where I was just sitting in a chair at 104 and I just passed away in my sleep. That's no reason, just I was old, happy and healthy, or maybe maybe mm, held over by popular demand. So you can work on your heart disease, you can work on cancer. I mean, just because you get it, that doesn't mean you got it because you didn't do something. These everybody gets something, but there's a lot of things here you can at least you can put up a fight. When old Grim Reaper comes knocking on your door, you can you can be away on business. you can fight back a little bit with some of these things and try to ward off. Because I think 70% of all diseases here in the U.S. are related to lifestyle, occupation, and personal choice. Obviously, if you're working for a chemical factory like I did for 17 years, you don't have much choice unless you just quit and go to another job maybe. But, a lot of us, we don't have a lot of choices that we think we do. But you can what I'm getting at is instead of worrying so much about prepping things, which I still worry about, and I'm still going to prepare for, but spend a lot more time on heart disease and finding out. And it's a lot of fun too, because if you think there's a lot of argument over what type of firearm a person should have or what's the best way to start a fire in the woods, there's like 14 million different ways people talk about diet and exercise, and they all argue over you should eat this, no, you shouldn't eat that, or you should have this, or no, you shouldn't do this. So it's really fascinating. You end up becoming a biochemist or a cardiologist or a cancer specialist, trying to figure this out all by yourself. God help the dietitian. I don't know how they handle their job. Everything keeps changing. But anyway, I'm rambling here. It's time to go, guys, but I just wanted to let you know, instead of doing all your prepping, you might want to carve out a little bit of time for the things that you know that are going to get you, not the ones that just might get you. So I hope this is just a heads up, and it's something I'm going to be doing. Actually, I'm going to have some more videos on it in the future. Different things that I've discovered that could be helpful for people to fight back. All right, guys, thanks for fighting. See you out there. Take care.